critics of Egypt's new anti-terrorism law fear.
Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi dollari che il presidente egiziano el-Sisi ha voluto.
Journalists can be fined for contradicting.
صدق رئيس عبد الفتاح السيسي على
كمان عندي خبر آخر أريد أن تعلق عليه.
What Ofcom categorizes as current affairs, which, under UK regulations, may not be sponsored. With an estimated annual turnover of $150 billion, it represents one of Italy's biggest businesses, the mafia. It operates in the shadows and under the rule of omertà, the code of silence, and bad press can be bad for business. Its various regional branches, the Camorra in Naples, the Sicilian Cosa Nostra, and the 'Ndrangheta in Calabria, and what's recently come to be called the capital mafia in Rome, all work hard to prevent the media digging into their affairs. Cold-blooded murders of prying journalists are mostly a thing of the past, but threats and intimidation remain a big problem. Many who report on organized crime accept that living in fear comes with the territory. And since the mainstream news media in Italy tend to cover the mafia story only when there are some major arrests or big names involved, most of the investigative work is left to local reporters with little reach, tiny budgets, and no protection. And that makes it easier for the mafia to infiltrate the local media and spin its own story. The Listening Post's Paolo Ganino from Palermo now on the troubled relationship between the mafia and the Italian media.
Some years back, the police commissioner got in touch with me. A mafia informer had been arrested, and he claimed that various mafia bosses from the Palermo province had decided to kill me. This was 2008, 2009, so I have now been under police protection for 7 or 8 years. I have to say it's not easy, but obviously we accept it for the sake of our work. The latest threats came last December, when we found my dogs hanged.
Who earned €3 per article.
The mafia was born in Sicily before spreading to the mainland and abroad, and the geography of this story affects the way it is reported.
In Italy, the divide between the north and the south has been a feature of the country since its unification a century and a half ago. Like most of Italy's industries, the mainstream news media are not based here in the south, but further north, in Rome and Milan, where the money is and the power lies. That reflects in the coverage of the South in general and the mafia story in particular.
And it means the work of local outlets becomes even more relevant. Telejato is a small family-run TV station based in Partinico, just west of Palermo, Sicily's capital. Known for its anti-mafia reporting, its daily news bulletins, hosted by Pino Magnaci, attract up to 150,000 viewers, big numbers for a local news market.
Good journalism has to cut deep. It becomes indispensable to the community.
Ci sono dei giornali, continuiamo a dire che non sono buoni nemmeno per avvolgerci le sarde salate, ma che ricevono contributi dallo Stato.
It's a reference point for the public. This is just the way it should be. After all, we are just stating the facts. You get to know a place, and you write about it. Ordinary people whose job it is to report what's going on, which is what every journalist should do.
Various mafia groups have been known to infiltrate the media and spin their own stories through shadowy business links with publishers, corrupt journalists, and even ownership.
This even affects major publishing houses, where, at times, they're obliged to strike non-aggression pacts with local mafia groups. This means what actually gets published suffers from a lack of reporting about anything connected to mafia activities. Cases like that of Mario Ciancio, the publisher in charge of Sicily's main newspaper, who's now being investigated for criminal association with the mafia.
Institutions that endure learn to evolve, adapt to changing times. These days, the Italian mafia is more likely to plant stories than flex its muscles. They're more likely to spin news narratives than attack the messenger. They have moved beyond omertà, the hard and fast code of silence, and towards a more subtle media strategy. And in that respect, they're not unlike the government, the church, and the other Italian institutions with whom they share power.
The Italian mainstream news media tend to cover the mafia story only when there are big arrests or trials. However, there are a number of alternative outlets online. Run by investigative reporter Claudio Cordova, Il Dispaccio is a local online newspaper based in Reggio Calabria in southern Italy. Thanks to his journalistic work, Cordova was appointed as a consultant to a parliamentary anti-mafia commission formed in Rome. Stampo Antimafioso is an online resource that investigates mafia activities in the north, Milan in particular. One of its reporters is Esther Castano. While working for a local newspaper for just €3 per article, Castano's investigations prompted the judiciary to dissolve the entire city council in Sedriano over its mafia links. Beyond Italy, there is Corregge, a non-profit investigative reporting organization based in Germany. The blog, available in Italian and German, reports on all Italian mafia groups with an approach that they call global and local at the same time. In cooperation with some other groups, Corregge also published Mafia in Africa, a collaborative investigation into the Italian mafia's involvement across that continent. Finally, you know the feeling. You've just checked in for your flight and you watch as your precious piece of luggage heads down the conveyor belt, fearing that you'll never see it again. Ever wonder what your luggage goes through as it makes its way to the plane? If you're flying out of Amsterdam's International Airport, your bag's in for quite a ride. The team there attached a camera to a piece of luggage, and since this particular airport has a very advanced automated baggage handling system, the resulting clip looks something like a cross between a video game and a roller coaster. In fact, one commenter suggested that a theme park should just build a ride and call it Airport Bag. The video is approaching 1 million hits on YouTube because it turns out that being a bag is a lot more fun than flying. We'll see you next time at The Listening Post.